Hello guys, it's John here from the Body Engineers and welcome to this lower back protecting workout. So what we've got is 8 rounds of exercises. What we're going to be doing is hitting all the different muscles around the lower back, which is going to help protect this vulnerable area. So what we're going to do is a lower body exercise, which is the front step up. Then we're going to go into a high row, which is going to be hitting the lats, which helps to protect the back because it goes right down into the lower back region. And then we're going to do a crunch, so we're going to be training front flexion. Then we're going to go into a hip abduction and then also a anti-rotation core or trunk exercise. So what we're going to do is 45 seconds of work followed by 15 seconds of rest for 2 rounds in total. We'll have a little break in the middle where you can just relax for a second, and then we'll go into the second round. So we're going to start with the front step up. So what you need for this workout is a step. So this could be anything that you've got at home, like a chair, or ideally something where you can actually step onto the step up without using your back leg. So it has to be kind of at the right height for that. And then you're going to need a band to do the high row and ideally a high attachment. So even if you have a TRX at home, you could attach the band to the TRX anchor, which will then enable you to do a row from a high position. And then you also need a band for the anti-rotational exercise. And then ideally, if you have some pillows at home where you can support the side, the trunk on one side, so when you're doing the hip abduction exercise. So I'll explain that as we're going along. So anyway, we're going to start with the front step up in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So for the front step up, I always like to use a support for it. So what I'm doing is using a stick, and then I'm having the front leg is straight and on the platform, then I'm lifting the toes on the back leg. Now I'm just leaning forward onto this front leg and then just driving through the front leg to drive up. And then I'm going knee forward, hip back, just tapping the heel on the ground and then pushing into the platform. So this is really good for targeting the glutes. And this is a key muscle to train and strengthen in order to protect your lower back. So just tapping the heel on the ground, driving the knee forward, pushing into the platform, and rest there. So then we're going to switch sides. We're going to do the other side now. So you're going to hold the stick with the other hand, have the foot straight ahead. Now if you feel this in the knees a little bit, what you want to make sure is that the knee is staying over the foot. And what you can do is push the hip out a little bit in order to change the position of the foot on the platform. And then you're keeping the toes up, tap the heel on the ground, and then push into the platform, and then slowly back down again. So knee forward, hip back, tap, push. Then you're trying to use the stick as least amount as possible. You only really need this if you have trouble with balance. It's always better to be able to focus on the muscle activation rather than trying to actually balance and keep steady. So knee forward, hip back, just tap the heel, a few more seconds, and drive into the platform. So obviously increase the height if you can at home to a height that's challenging, and then enables you to really feel the muscles properly and to challenge yourself. Okay, so then we're going to go into a high row using the band in a high position. So we're going to go into a kneeling position, ideally with both knees on the floor. And then your elbows out, you're driving the elbows out to the side, pushing the shoulders down to the floor. So really try and activate your lats. Squeeze your abs as well so you're not arching too much. And then slowly forwards again. So let the shoulder blades go up, retract them down. Elbows out to the side, push the shoulders down to the floor, squeeze at the bottom, and then slowly back up again. So this is not going to be hugely difficult unless your band is very strong. So ideally you'd be able to do this in the gym as well to target the lats using a cable machine. So pause at the bottom and then slowly back up. So elbows out to the side, push the shoulders down to the floor, squeeze, and then back up. So then we're going to go into a front crunch. So we're going to go onto the mat, just here, feet flat on the ground, cross the arms. So you're keeping your lower back flat on the ground, crossing the arms and then rolling into the floor. Now this is an exercise that's typically done incorrectly where people try to come up too high like this when you're not really keeping tension in the abs the whole time. And also because it's using too much momentum, it can be stressful on different parts of the body. So you're just trying to roll into the floor, pause at the top, trying to bring your ribs to your pelvis, and then slowly back. And you don't really want to use any support underneath your lower back, particularly if you have back problems. So squeeze slowly back, and if you want to make it harder, just don't go all the way down on with your head, so you're not resting at the bottom. Okay, and then we're going into a side hip abduction. So I'm using a core pad for this, just to support my, just to keep my spine in a neutral position as I'm doing the exercise. So you're keeping the top leg straight, bottom leg bent. Bring your leg up to a neutral position, and you can rotate the leg into whatever angle you feel is weaker. And what this does, this exercise is training the side hip muscles, and these are really important when you're walking on one leg or running, because it stabilizes the pelvis. If these are weak, then your pelvis will tilt to the side too much, which will create too much side bend in your spine, which will then potentially lead to problems with the lower back. So the stronger these muscles are, the better. So just keep the leg nice and straight, smoothly come up and down. Now, if you do that you might need to do it for a little bit longer than 45 seconds, and you really feel that burn in the side. Now we're going to do the other side. So you're going to bend the bottom leg, keep the top leg straight, lift the leg up, keep it locked, slowly come up and down. So just a nice pulsing motion. Pause, try and reach away with your leg. Reach away and lift up. Slowly up, slowly down. Just really trying to find that burn and squeeze in the side hips. That's it, a few more seconds. Just over 10. Pause. And try and find that top position where you feel it the most. That's where you'll really feel it as well. So it's not going to be very high. Like if you try to use too much momentum and bring your leg up too much, you're probably blowing past where your end range hip abduction is, and then you're going to side bend at your trunk instead. And then we're going to go into a anti-rotation exercise. So we've got a band attached at approximately sort of the lower part of the ribs, and then you start in the middle, so with the hands right in the middle of your body, and then slowly extending out, keeping everything tight, so you're making sure you don't rotate. Just keep it there, and then slowly back. So you could just do this as an exercise, or if it's not too challenging, then you can do a bit of a rotation as well. You just got to make sure that you're purely rotating and not moving from somewhere else. So you should feel this all around the spine, so both sides, because you have muscles on both sides of your body which help to rotate you in one direction. So just pause there and then slowly back. And then we're going to do the other side, so we're just going to turn around and get this pad out of the way, and then starting in the middle and then slowly extending out. Pause here, so you can just hold this position. This will be challenging enough for some people, and obviously if the band is not very strong, then you can either come further away from it or just use a stronger band if you have one at home. And then rotate away, so rotate towards the band a little bit to make it a little bit easier, and then you're trying to rotate away. Pause, try and keep everything else still. It's just the spine that's moving. Hands are following with it, so you make sure you don't just move at the hands and not at your ribs. A few more seconds. And rest there. Okay, so that is the end of the first round of this little workout sequence. I'll see you in a few seconds for the next round. All right, guys, so welcome to the second round of this little lower back workout sequence. So we're going to go back to the front step up in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So obviously, if you want to make it harder for this round, increase the height if you can. Depending on your setup at home, use the stick to help with support, keep the foot straight ahead, toes up on the back foot, lean onto that front leg and drive just with the front leg alone. So even if the slightest bend in the leg or slightest push with the toes will make a huge difference with this exercise. So you really try to focus on not flexing your foot at all. So just tap the heel, lean onto the front foot, push into the ground. The better you get at this, the more you'll feel it in the glutes and the more challenging it'll be, which is a good thing. And then you're just pushing into the platform to come back up. And then we're going to switch sides. So you can do the same thing the other side. Keep the foot straight ahead, knee over the foot, and then push the hip out if that feels better for your knee. So toes up on the back foot, lean onto the front foot, and then drive into the platform. And then just tap, keep the toes up on the back leg, tap the heel, tap, push. That's it. Good. Tap, and then push. That's it. 15 seconds. So again, just try and just tap the heel. Drive onto the front, drive the knee forward, but make sure the heel stays flat on the step. You want to be pushing through the whole foot and not just part of the foot. And then we're going to go into the high row again with the band. So we're going to go into a kneeling position on both knees. So we're just driving the elbows out, pushing the shoulders down to the floor. So it's like a downward rotation of the shoulder to really activate the lats and trying to squeeze the shoulders as well. But it's mostly downward rotation, which is the opposite of shrugging up. It's pushing the shoulders down to the floor. Really activate the lats and squeeze your abs to make sure you're not arching your back too much. Pause at the bottom and back down again. For now, if you're pretty strong, then you'll probably find the band is a bit too easy. But if you're a beginner to weight training or to training, then band resistance will be pretty good. Pause at the bottom, squeeze the lats, squeeze, 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 and then slowly let it back up. And rest there. And then we're going to go into the crunch on the mat. So feet flat on the ground, cross the arms. And then just slowly rolling into the floor, squeezing the abs. So the stronger you can get your abs in flexion and in the other movements of the spine, so in side bend and in rotation, the stronger your back will be. So this one is training the abs in flexion, which is one of the primary functions of the spine, is to flex forward. So you're rolling into the floor. Try and bring the bottom of your ribs to the top of your pelvis. These 2 points together. And then slowly lengthen from the abs. And then roll back into the floor. Pause at the top, hold it, and then slow it down. Don't let your head rest on the floor unless you really have to. Pause, and then back. Just there, pause, and then back. And then we're going to the side hip abduction with the support, just to keep your spine neutral so that you're not starting in a side bend in a side bend position. So keep the leg straight, rotate the leg in if you want to feel a slightly different stimulus, and then just bring it high as you can, just moving from here. You don't want to be like using the spine, lifting up like that. You want to slowly come up, just moving, just using this muscle here, and then slowly back down again. So really try and find the top, reach the leg away, pause, and you can do little pulses up and down. This will really make your side glutes or your glute medius, glute minimus really burn, and then slowly back down again. That's it, just smooth motion. And rest there, and then switch sides. So then we're going to turn around the other way. I'm going to go this way this time. And then leg straight, bring it up. Slowly bring it up as high as you can. pause. And you might find with this exercise that one side is weaker than the other. Just slowly, you could do little circles as well. And also you can change the degree of flexion or extension you have in your hips as well, and that will change the exercise and how it feels. Like if you do it in more flexed position, that will actually hit more of the glute minimus. And you might find it harder this way compared to if you're in a more extended position of the hip. This is burning. Then you can bring it back and rest there. Whoa, it burns. And now we're going to go into the anti-rotation exercise with the band. So grab the handle if you have one for it, and then start right in the middle of your chest. Legs, keep them hip width apart, squeeze the glutes. So you're keeping your hips stable, and then slowly extend. You can rotate towards the band slightly. Just make sure you're just rotating and not side bending the trunk, and then you can rotate away as far as you can. Making sure it still just maintains only pure rotation. You pause and then back. Rotate, pause, and then back. Pause, back. That's it, keep your glutes squeezed so that your pelvis stays still as you rotate the spine. And then we're going to switch sides. So last exercise. So bring band right into the middle, extend the arms, slowly rotate towards the band, and then back, hold it there, and then rotate towards. And this strengthens the abdominal area in rotation, so it's involving a lot of muscles which will help protect the lower back and the spine. So this is a really important exercise. So if you find this one challenging, you might just want to start without any rotation. Just try and hold this position. Maybe bring your hands a bit closer towards your body so they make it a bit easier. As you get stronger, and you can bring the arms out. Now you want to make sure that there's absolutely no pain with this exercise. And then rotate towards the band. Rotate away, pause, and rest there. All right, so that's the end of this little workout sequence for protecting the lower back that you can do from home. And what I recommend you do is rewind this workout, maybe do it for 1 or 2 more times, maybe even increase the length or time for each exercise to increase the challenge a little bit, particularly with the hip abduction. And please comment below and let me know what you think. And I will hopefully be posting similar videos just like this in the coming weeks. So just please look out for that, and I'll see you very soon.
The Body Engineers.